How do you select which multifamily properties to invest in, and what factors do you consider?
Well, for me, I'm located in Greenville, South Carolina, which is the northwest part of the state. And so for me, local knowledge is extremely important. So I think if you're going to be a good investor, you need to kind of know the lay of the land in your markets and have kind of a intimate knowledge of what's going on in those communities, what's happening with the market in terms of rent and sale values. And I think also as you get embedded in various markets, you can pick up on what submarkets are going to trend well, and you can see that the path to future growth is there. And I would give the example, like you could look on a map in your market and this location could be primo A1. You could go a mile away and it could be a whole different type market. Unless you have that local market knowledge, you might not really understand that. So for me, I invest primarily in the upstate area of South Carolina where I know what's going on. I can go buy my properties on a regular basis. And for me, that's a real key. If I'm going to ask folks to invest money with me, their hard-earned capital, I have to have a high degree of confidence that I know the market and I know that the business plan is practical and able to be enacted. So that confidence about the local market's really important.
Yeah, no, that's huge. That's and knowing the path of progress, you could buy something that might be look distressed on the outside, but they don't know that a huge employment driver is coming into the area or things on that. Because you're right, it could be street by street in some cases.
Very much so. And neighborhoods where you start seeing flippers move in and they're flipping homes. There might be a little retail strip and all of a sudden a real hip coffee shop goes in, and then a cool little brew pub or restaurant. If you can kind of get ahead of that curve, that's where you can really make some good investments. The other way I say it is invest in areas before they become front page news.
Yeah.
Because by the time they're front page news, now you got all sorts of competition.
Yeah, and that's kind of like looking at the hot markets to go in, like basically Texas, Houston. It's unattractive to even look at those areas because that the herd's already there. It's you're buying on a future value that's not there yet, and giving away essentially your equity.
And a lot of competition, and you have to find the right pond to kind of swim in. I've done very well, but of course, there are multifamily operators that knock down $100 million deals every other month. That's not where my business is. It's not where I really want to be. So you have to kind of find your niche where you can compete and that the market.
Yeah. Are you focused on primary, secondary, or tertiary markets?
Well, I would say Greenville's probably a tertiary market. It's midway between Charlotte and Atlanta on the I-85 corridor, 90 miles from one, 120 from another. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity in these tertiary markets. You do have population growth coming. And I'd say the other thing, if you can find some of these smaller markets on a major interstate freeway between larger markets, the growth is eventually going to follow that interstate corridor or whatever it is. So good logistical location on transportation, but a little bit smaller area. I think that's the most fruitful place to look.
Yeah, totally agree. And there could be some huge winners in tertiary markets as well. Even if you've got hospitals and the proximity and different good.
And the rents are a little bit more affordable, and we also know affordability. So I like to kind of keep my rents, ideally, I kind of like them 11, 12, 13, 1400. That's just a good, solid rent level, hardworking people, good tenants, not the luxury type apartment, but then maybe not some of the issues that you get with much lower income tenancy and so forth. So I think that's kind of a sweet spot, at least for me in the Greenville market. Now, of course, prices are different in different markets, but relatively that's